Hi, I'm Molly Kennedy, Youth Resilience Speaker, and I'd like to share with you today a few tips and strategies on how to build resilient students. Today we'll focus on modeling resiliency for your students and also encouraging them to appreciate some of the obstacles life throws at them because, as we know, they'll be better in the end for it. So, from one former educator to you, to a current educator, grab a cup of coffee and let's chit-chat for a few minutes. Can you think back on a time in your life where you had a really challenging situation you had to face? Maybe that circumstance was unfair, it was really disappointing or frustrating. Maybe something that made you get really angry. If you're like me, you definitely have a list going on in your head right now. I don't know about you, but sometimes I've thrown a little pity party for myself, made a mountain out of a molehill, and probably took my anger out on some people who didn't deserve it. You know, that's a pretty common thing that we all deal with. But as we know, as adults, you deal with it, you move on, you figure it out, and it prepares you for the next time, because there's always a next time that obstacles will be thrown in our way. And just because we know that as adults and as educators, certainly doesn't mean that our students do. So part of our responsibility is to share with them the things that we know about being resilient and how to get back up, what that looks like in real time, and to appreciate it because it's only going to make us better in the end. So maybe, for example, let's see, I think you'll be able to relate to this. Let's say you have your favorite lesson of the year you're about to teach. And I mean, you love it. The kids love it. Everybody's jacked up, ready to go. It's like hands-on. It's just like one of the best lessons that you have. And it's coming up. You're ready to go. So you get into school. Everything's set up. You set up the night before. And you open your email. And the first email you read says that, sorry for the late notice, but we're going to be on a really shortened schedule today. Class is only going to be 20 minutes compared to the normal 45. But that's what it is, sorry for the late notice. Now, I can feel your frustration right now, so take a breath. I've been in this situation too, where you're ready to go and then someone just throws a curveball at you. So here's the thing with this situation, how we model resiliency for our students. Because as you're reading this email, they're coming in the room. And they're ready, they see everything set up, ready to rock and roll, and you have to break it to them. So as you're reading this email, do you get angry? Do you snap? Do you start blaming the principal for changing the schedule last minute? Are you like a woe is me sort of a thing? Just get angry? Because remember, they're watching. Your students are watching you. They're learning all the time, not just the content, but the character. So how do you respond? I know I've been in that situation before, and I have not made the best choices all the time. I definitely have just snapped and been pretty ticked off. But I've also been on the other side. So when you're in that situation, on the flip side of that coin, and you know they're watching, can you say, hey guys, I got some bad news. I just opened this email just now. It's out of my control. It looks like we can't do this lesson today. And of course you're like, oh man, come on, that's not fair. You know how the kids react. But this is a great learning opportunity. Or say, hey guys, here's the deal. It is what it is. And I know we have something else going on tomorrow, or it's the weekend, or, you know, you're off a break for a week, or whatever the case might be. We say, you know what? We'll figure it out. I'll make sure the next possible time we can do this lesson, I will make sure that we are able to do it and do it to our fullest capacity because you deserve that. And look, guys, this is just what happens. Life throws you a curveball. It's how you handle it. Can you bounce back? We can't always just snap and be mad and angry for everything that happens. So I'm frustrated too. I know you're frustrated. I'm sorry. But we will figure it out and we'll have a solution. You have my word on that. So it's the same situation. It's just how you react. But the kids they need to see what resiliency looks like. They need to see what calm looks like in the face of adversity. Because they might not have that at home. And we all know with what they're looking at on social media, it's quick, snap judgments, it's retaliation, it's violence. Rarely do they see calm, composure in the face of an obstacle and how to handle it in real time. So next time something happens in your school, in your classroom, and you have the chance to model what resiliency looks like and how to bounce back from that curveball, they're watching, and that's a lesson that they absolutely need. Now, the second thing we can do beyond modeling resiliency is to share with our students some tough situations that maybe you've been through in your life and how you overcame them, how you got back up and you dusted yourself off. Now, of course, you only share what you're comfortable with, but maybe it's something like, did you ever get cut from a team? Did you try out for the lead in a play in high school and you didn't get it? Have you been dumped before? Any sort of an obstacle or sometime where you got knocked down, be willing to share that with your students and walk them through how you handled it, whether good or bad, and what you learned from it, and how you've taken that lesson and you applied it to future times when you've gotten knocked to the ground. Because we get knocked down all the time. A couple things that does. Again, it shows them that you can get back up. You don't have to stay knocked down. It also builds that connection and trust with you, that you trusted them with something that was personal to you. And it builds that connection. And on a side note, it also lets them know that you're human and you don't live in the boiler room in the basement of your school. Let's be honest. When you see a student out at the grocery store and they look at you like you're from another planet, right? That you have a life. So it builds all those things. Yeah, a little humor there too, right? Oh, you're not an alien. But that connection, that trust, that vulnerability. I've gotten dumped before too, or I didn't get picked for the team or first chair in orchestra or whatever that thing is. But let them know how that experience has helped you learn and brace yourself and prepare for the next time. And that it was probably a good thing that thing happened, that bad thing happened, because you've learned from it. You've learned how to be resilient and confident and resourceful. Maybe you learned how to deal with those problems by talking to someone who had your back. Maybe you never thought you had someone to talk to. But that situation forced you to have that person, that support system to talk about your problems with. And kids need to hear that, because oftentimes they think they're alone and they're not. And sharing that story with them, some of your personal situations, again, whatever you're comfortable with, will definitely help them see that obstacles are okay and you can bounce back. I do this a lot, not only with former students who contact me and some of my former athletes, but also when I travel across the country speaking with students and educators. I share a similar story where, I often say the best thing that ever happened to me was losing my teaching job twice. I got cut twice due to budget cuts. And as disappointing and as scary and frustrating as that was, and I loved teaching, I loved my classroom, man, it was awesome. I loved it. I loved the kids. Losing my job twice was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it allowed me, actually, I'd say it forced me to follow my true passion, which is traveling the country, speaking with students and educators about being resilient. And I get to share my story so students rewrite theirs. So I appreciate all the bad things that I've gone through throughout my life, because it's made me the person I am today. And the same is true when you share those situations with your students and you model to them what it looks like to be calm, composed, and to be resilient. It matters because they're watching. I want to thank you for your time today. Look, I know your schedules are very, very busy. I appreciate your time. And I know you don't hear thank you enough in the day-to-day. So as a former teacher, I'd like to say to you, thank you for everything you do for your students. your care, your nurturing, your humor, everything you do for your students, it matters. And you matter. Thank you so much, and have a great day.